Hi, Mr. C here. In the next step in the advanced woodworking project, where we're using MDF and veneer to make a custom, beautifully designed project by you. You guys are making all the decisions, so I'm just a craftsperson in this case, so let's go ahead and go on to the next step. Well, in the last video you had seen that we had cut enough veneer of the quarter sawn white oak veneer to cover the base and the left and right legs, and to completely cover them on all four sides of all three pieces. Now the next thing is that we have to do is we have to create or have enough veneer to make for the top piece that we discussed earlier. Now the top measures 43.5 by 15 by 1.5 inches thick. Everything is divisible by 1.5 inches, because remember, you have picked out squares that are made up of triangles that are four-pieced. They add 1.5 inches. So everything is divisible by 1.5 inches. So that way we can get the total wrapping around the edges and the top and bottom of that top. But what I took the liberty of doing is, with the different wood veneers and figuring out how many square inches do we need to cut this. Because remember, we're going to be using the laser to cut all of our veneers, that way it ends up perfect, okay? So when I took the dimension of 43.5 by 15 by 1.5 inches, that's the panel size. So the square inches for the top, bottom, edges, and the ends, we're going to end up with 1,435.5 square inches. So when you divide that out by the four different veneers that you've picked, you need approximately 360 inches, just under 360 square inches to go ahead and cut this. That's if you had no scrap, no kerf, no nothing. Now granted, we are going to be using laser technology, where the kerf is like basically thinner than any type of scroll saw blade you could ever find, but we have to allow for some space between them as far as the pieces, the triangles that we're going to be creating. So the cherry pieces, the walnut, the macrame and antigrade, this is what we needed for that. So what I did was, our laser machine is limited to the size as far as the panel or the bed of the laser. The laser measures 40 inches by 24 inches. So with that dimension in mind, I have to remember, even though this is 43.5 inches long, I don't need pieces of veneer that are 43.5 inches long, because we're cutting them 1.5 inches, right? By 3/4 up, those triangles. So what I did was I went ahead and I cut your veneer to give us enough material to get all four veneers. Here's your antigrade. Now it still needs to be flattened, that's why this is cracking. Don't worry, we can fix that. All we have to do is flatten this, and I'll show you the next step, what we have to do to treat the material to get it ready to go into the laser. Here's your macrame. Now, this piece happens to be 38 by 11, which isn't enough, but I have the leftover piece as well, so we can go ahead and cut the other triangles out of this. So we have enough of these two veneers. Then we have our American walnut with our veneers for this, and it does require us to have two separate pieces for that as well. There is a little bit of figure, but I think that the triangles will be so small it might be very difficult to see the figure, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot, okay? And then our last piece here, which is the cherry, this does have a little bit of figure, but the same as the walnut, the triangles are so small, it's going to be such subtle that we may not be able to see it, or it might not be as dramatic as you think as far as the curl or the figure in the veneer. So we have these. All of our veneers have been cut to approximate length. Now we have to do a couple different things in a series of steps. The first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and take all of our veneers and we need to flatten them completely. So in the next video, what I'm going to show you is that process of us spraying down the veneer with this flattening agent, getting it into a press, that way it's flattened. It has to sit for several days to be monitored, and paper towel has to be brought in and out as it's drying. And then as that is happening just off to the side, we're not going to be just sitting idle waiting for that to happen. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into the software and start creating our design or our software, using our software application to go ahead and cut all of the veneer using a laser. So until next time, I'm Mr. C, and this is the next step in the process of building your custom advanced woods project that you guys are selecting all the different design choices. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.